Hello.
Okay, use the data table. So there's eight points here. So I'm literally going to plot 8 dots on my picture. Make sure you do plot them correctly. However, I have seen several people click on the submit button, and it said they were wrong. And I double checked every single coordinate that they had, and they were right. So, and then they clicked on it a second time, and it said, ding, 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 you're right. It was very confusing. So, you may get all these points graphed. Do you think that the pattern that you see here follows a positive slope or a negative slope? That's a negative slope. So, I would come over here, and I would say, this is a negative correlation, because as the plotted values of x increase, the plotted y values decrease. Okay, so simple. They're not always going to be positive. You might get a positive one. You just have to plot your dots and see. Now, let's see if it says I'm wrong. Nope. Okay, that's the first type of question. Now, there's 3 questions for each type. So I just want to go through these. Now, would you say that those points are close to a line or not? Are they far away from a line? Okay, so that's the word strong. Do you think that this pattern is positive or negative? So I'm going to say positive, strong correlation. Now, if you get something that looks like a shotgun went off, okay, there's no correlation whatsoever. That's the one in the middle. That's or wherever it was. I thought it was in the middle. Yeah, no correlation at all. But this one is always strong positive because they're close together and following a positive pattern. Literally won't take long, except for the one question. One question takes. Sometimes they ask me to interpret the slope. Sometimes they ask me to interpret the y-intercept. Okay, so if you get a question like this that says, tell me what the slope is all about. Well, I have people divided by time. So I'm looking for something that would tell me people over time, rise over run. Answer choices. They also use this phrase, average rate of change. That's another way to say slope. So average rate of change. I see that 2 times. But we want people and every additional hour. So that's people over hours. That's why that one's my choice. The last one, they switch them. So it's important that you put the y values over the x values on those. These, literally, you will go very quickly through these. There's only 3 questions for each type. Draw the line of best fit. This one is slightly annoying. And here's why. Because you got to be pretty doggone close. So I'm going to say that my line looks like that. And now I'm going to actually, you don't have to actually pick any of the dots. You are going to pick points that you think are on your line. And obviously you can see my line that I drew looks like that. Now, it's got to be pretty close to the correct one. Otherwise, it'll tell you you're wrong. And sometimes it can get frustrating because, see how I'm not even correct? I'm close, but I'm not correct. You just have to get fairly close to what the pattern looks like. Yes, there is an exact way to do it, but we use computers to do that because it's much easier. Predicted line of best fit. This actually has a little bit of work involved in it, although I have seen some people using their slope to help them. But literally, I picked 2 coordinates, and I'm going to do 4, 80, 3, 74. To find the slope of the line, the slope would be 80 minus 74 over 4 minus 3. So I've got a 6 for my slope. And then we know how to write the equation of a line. We need to pick one coordinate. Which coordinate would you like me to pick? Sanders, which one? Any of these two up here that I've written out? All right. So Sanders picks the 480. You changed your mind? Okay. So then I need to pay attention to this. What quiz score should someone who studied 6 hours expect? Did they give me an X value or a Y value? Which is it? 6 hours. Is that an X value or a Y value? It's an X value. So they want me to plug a 6 in here and calculate the Y. Some of you are going to get X's, some of you are going to get Y's. And so you just have to plug it into the correct spot and solve it. But that one is the most amount of work of any of the questions. So, and I wrote an example up there on the whiteboard if you need one when you get to that. The last example is pretty close to one of the other ones. So they ask me to describe the correlation, and you're probably like, well, there's my shotgun, so I'm going to say no correlation, okay, and no pattern. Dang, I would say the same thing there, too. That doesn't look like a pattern at all. Okay, so this one obviously is coming down like this, but it's got this one little thing out here. What would you call that thing? Outlier. So that's the difference here. We have a negative linear with one outlier. And of course it's decreasing. So anyway, those are the types of questions you're going to get. And we have a few minutes to get some of them done, so open up your computers. Get a few of these done.